A very good morning students to all of you. Today we will discuss about future perfect tense. Okay. So, let us quickly go to the main slide. Oh, an old man, what he has to say, let us understand. It says he will have retired by the time he is 60. Okay. So, we know that retiring age is mostly 60, and here they are saying that he will have retired by the time he is 60. What are they trying to say here? Here students, 60 indicate the age of this man, which is in the future. We are talking about future. Right now let us assume that maybe he is young and he is working, but latest by 60 years of age he will stop working and get retired. Are you able to understand, student, this example? Let me give you the definition and maybe you will be able to understand it better. Okay. It is future perfect tense, which says it is used for an action that will be completed before a specific time or any other action in the future. Can you see here, student, 60 is a specific time, right? Okay. And they are saying that his working time will be completed, okay, by 60. So, he will have retired. Are you able to understand that action will be completed by latest by 60. So, when we talk about such things, we use future perfect tense, and it is mostly used with either by or in, because we show that by this time or in an hour we will complete this, right, in an hour, that way. Understood? So, mostly it is used by or in to show the time. Okay. Let us look at another example so you will understand it better. I will have probably fought with my brother by the end of the week. So, you also must be fighting with your brother and sister, right, siblings, cousins, whosoever you are close with, but that is not actually fighting, like it's like it's love only for your, if you know, this should happen actually in every relation, and then you come back again, so it's like that. Relations are beautiful, right? So, here also you can see that one brother is hitting another one, but we know that they will be back again and will start playing. So, do not take it too much seriously here, right? It is just an example. So, here it says I will have probably fought with my brother by the end of the week. Now, this is like maybe they are fighting, maybe they are having some problem, and he knows that it is a routine, it will happen somehow anytime before the end of the week, again we will fight once again. So, let us say for instance that today is Monday. Okay. So, Sunday, because we are talking about the end of the week, so Sunday is the latest time when I will have finished fighting with my brother. By that time we will fight once and the fighting will be finished again by the end of the week. Are you able to understand, student? It is easy, right? The use of this tense? Great. Let us take one example more. So, by the time you read this, now here as I said that specific time or any other action. So, here it says that by the time you finish reading this, I will have slept, I will sleep. Okay. I do not know what time you are going to take, but by the time you finish this reading this, I will be sleeping, I will have slept. Another one says I am not going to have finished this book by 11 o'clock. Now, here it is specific again, and again I am giving you a negative example how to use it. I am not going to, and also if you can see will have and not going. So, when you are talking about going to, you use am is are, and if you are using and then there is another one which you simply use will, okay, will here. So, two examples, different examples, one positive, one negative, one with the going to and one with the will have, but both are in one we are talking about the action, one we are talking about the specific time, but both are going to finish before the specific thing, specific action or specific time. Understood, student? Three examples and its uses. Okay, I mean both three are talking about the same thing, but I hope you understood the use of this particular tense. Great. So, you might have got the idea by now that what is the form for this particular tense. So, let us look at it. Form of the sentence structure for future perfect tense is subject plus will have plus past participle, that is V3, okay, third form of verb, plus object. Now, we have discussed about ED forms before, right, V3 forms before, and there are some spelling rules, you know them as well, all of them, right. So, let us once again review all of them, so you remember it very well. Okay. So, what is V3 past participle spelling rules? So, we have regular verbs and irregular verbs, that also you know. So, regular verbs are created adding ed, d, y, cvc. Okay. I am sure you have like got this clear in your head now, because we have discussed it so many times, right. So, mostly you know that simply we have to add ed for the most verbs, right. So, watch plus ed becomes your watched. Then there are verbs which are ending with e. So, what you do is you simply add d to it. So, you get live plus d equals to lived, and then there are also like here you just need to understand that what mostly simply most of the verbs we add ed, but here we do not add another e. Okay, we just add d, remember that. Okay, great. Then there are verbs which are ending with y, and before y there is a consonant. So, what we do is, yes, we remove y and we add ied to it. So, you get cried. Okay. Then there is our stop, like CVC method. Stop becomes your stopped. Why? Because there is CVC, consonant, vowel, consonant. So, what we do is we double the last letter and we add ed to it. So, you get stopped. Clear, students? And there are irregular verbs, student. You already know deal becomes dealt, eat becomes eaten, know becomes known. You sometimes add t, sometimes add n, sometimes add en. There is no specific rule, you know that. You have to remember, you have to memorize irregular verbs as well as verbs that do not change. Verbs that do not change means cut remains cut for you. Okay? It does not change in V3 form. So, you have to memorize irregular verbs and verbs that do not change. Understood, student? Great. So, this is just a review for V3 form. I again explain you, because this is the last last ED tense we are going to talk about. So, great, you remember this now. Now, quickly let us move towards forming the positive or affirmative sentence in future perfect tense. Okay. So, I already told you the form of it. It is subject plus will have plus V3 form plus object. So, what I have done is, first we will talk about regular verbs. So, any of the subject is that there, I, you, we, they, he or she, you will simply add will have. I have highlighted, you can see have, okay, plus past participle, that is V3. So, what you get is I will have washed. Here I have taken the word wash, okay, because it is easy to remember. Before also we have taken the word wash. Okay. So, I will have washed, and what I have done here is I have used the contraction I, it be like I plus will, which gives you I'll. Okay. So, I have washed, you have washed, we'll have washed, they'll have washed, he'll have washed, she'll have washed. Understood, student? There is also it will, okay, but that is little tricky to pronounce it, and it is not even used much. Mostly people use it will. Okay. So, that is better. Okay. Now, let us move towards irregular verbs. I have just taken one example, eaten, eat becomes eaten. So, what you get is same, any of the subject you add will have to it, just change V3 form. Above was ed, here we will add en. Okay, you need to memorize this. Okay. So, you get I have eaten, same I have used the contraction combined I plus will. Okay. So, you get I have eaten, you'll have eaten, will have eaten, they'll have eaten, he'll have eaten, she'll have eaten. Understood? Easy? Let us quickly go to the negative sentence. So, what we have to simply do is add not to make negative statement. So, regular verbs, you can see I have highlighted the word not. So, subject plus will plus not plus have plus V3. Okay. So, you get I will not have washed, and again I have used the contraction, but this time I have combined will plus not. Now, see students, here like there is no specific rule why there I will, and I mean you combine subject plus will and here will plus not. So, there is like history, there is a long history, you can go and look into Google, or you can find out, but you do not have to worry much about it. You just need to simply memorize, remember this, that this is how it is done. Okay, fine. But if you want to upgrade your knowledge and you want to see and check out everything, you can go and find it out. Alright, let us come back to this. I will not have washed will become I won't have washed, you won't have washed, we won't have washed, they won't have washed. Remember the pronunciation, it is won't, it is not want. Okay? He won't have washed, she won't have washed. Understood? Let us quickly take the example of irregular verb. So, you get again subject plus will plus not plus have, only your V3 form has changed here. Above was ed, here it is en, and you get I won't have eaten, you won't have eaten, we won't have eaten, they won't have eaten, he won't have eaten, she won't have eaten. Understood? Great. Now, let us look at forming interrogative sentences. You know very well we have to take will in the beginning with capital W, then you will have your subject, then you will have, then V3 form of verb. So, you get, for regular verbs first we will discuss, will in the beginning, you can see capital W and I have highlighted the word will. Okay. Then you have your subject I, you, we, they, he, is, she, sorry, he, she, it. Okay. And then you will add have to it, and then V3 form of verb, and question mark at the end. I have highlighted question marks also. You do not have to forget that in an interrogative sentence. Okay. So, you get will I have washed, will you have washed, will we have washed, will they have washed. It is a question form. So, I am speaking like that. Okay. It should look, it should sound like a question. Will you have, will they have washed, will he have washed, will she have washed. Okay. Now, let us look at the irregular verb eaten. So, will in the beginning with capital W, then subject, then have, and then V3 form of verb. Okay. So, will I have eaten, will you have eaten, will we have eaten, will they have eaten, will he have eaten, will she have eaten. Understood student? Easy? Great. I am glad that we have completed today the 11th tense. We will look at the first of all we will solve the exercises of future perfect tense, and then we will go to the last tense, future perfect continuous tense. I am glad that we have come so far, and you have thoroughly, I hope that you have thoroughly enjoyed learning these tenses. Great. Have a very, very good day students. See you soon.